Hey, what's up everybody? Prospector here with Watcher Realms. Venoma is getting a buff. Finally, we've been talking about this for a very long time. And today I'm going to go over that buff with you and also showcase the difference. Anyways, without further ado, let's dig in. Alright, so we're going to go over her base kit now. Since it's on the test server, I have the new version, and on the global server, I have the old version. So yeah, talent is going to be basic attack has 20% chance to apply curse to the enemies. Curse is the ability to stop enemies from performing their basic attack. Very useful, and something that's going to come, I'm going to call out quite a few times in her kit today. Basic attack deals 120% damage to one enemy on the first pass of the Olden Curse when inflicting hex on an enemy, slows them down by 50% for 2 seconds, goes up to 4. Hex itself deals 20% continuous magic damage per second, cannot be dispelled. Now, Cursing Gaze, after attacking 7 times, which is going to go down to 5, the next attack deals 110% extra damage and inflicts hex, bouncing to 2 more enemies. She also has a Lord ability here, reduces faction team members' skill cost by 25%, increases allies' rage by 30% upon their first deployment. So when they first come out, they have a lot. They're really close to being pretty much ready to ult, and then she is able to reduce their skill costs or ultimate costs by an extra 25% in general. Now on the ultimate, after short channeling deals 480% damage, this goes up to 520, 560 to enemies in the front area, inflicting hex upon them. It goes down to a skill cost of 600, so it's relatively quick. It's just a big boom, basically, is what's going to be happening here. You can see here skill range is a little bit weird for this. Okay. Hero details is not something we really need to discuss too much. We can also talk about a little bit about the attack being a little low for a mage, especially one of a Lord, and her attack interval is at 2.6 seconds, which is pretty normal for a mage. Okay, so here is the buffs that are going to be coming out. We have, maybe let me actually pull up the test server here. All right, we're on the test server. We're going to go to the skills. Venoma Snake Blood Empress has been reworked into an AoE mage. All damage types have been changed to AoE magic and damage. Basic attack attacks up to 3 enemies, dealing up to 120% damage. So that's going to be right here. Up to 3 enemies here. So before, this was going to be 120% to 1 enemy, and now it's 120% to damage to 3 enemies. Now remember that basic attack has a 20% chance to apply curse, which stops them performing their basic attack to the enemy. So 20% chance for that to happen, okay? Now, on the ultimate here, on the old one, it's after a short channeling deals up to 560% AoE damage to enemies in the front area, inflicting hex upon them. That hex is for 5 seconds. With the buffed version, that hex is going to go up to 10 seconds, and hex itself is going to deal an extra 15% continuous magic damage per second that cannot be dispelled. So we're going to extra 15% magic damage here, and an extra 10 or extra 5 seconds on the debuff itself. On to the Olden Curse. Okay, so the old version is going to be when inflicting hex on an enemy, slows them down by 50% 2 seconds, so that's up to 4 seconds. And then on the new version, it's when inflicting hex on an enemy, slows them down by 50% for 6 seconds. So they're gonna get an extended time that's gonna happen. This isn't insane, but it is nice. It is nice, especially for the use cases that you'd use Venoma for. All right, now on one of the major changes here, after attacking 7 times, goes on to 5. The next attack deals 110% extra damage and inflicts hex, bouncing up to 2 more enemies. Okay, so on the new skill here, Cursing Gaze, after every 5 attacks, the next attack deals 280% damage to enemies and inflicts hex on them. So essentially, we're just getting a massive damage boost as well, coming from the Cursing Gaze, which is gonna be huge for her, okay? So essentially before, what we were getting is like the only time you're really getting damage out of her is when she used her ultimate, and then you get that for like a flash of a second, and then it'd be gone. And then now you have every 5 attacks, you're going to get an extra 170% damage coming out of her compared to before. And the other major change is going to be this Awaken level 5. So if you go down here, basic attack target +1. If you come over here on the test server, the basic attack targets is +2. Now also, I want to bring out this Awakened level 3, Cursing Gaze. Also inflicts curse. This isn't part of the buff really, but the fact is that this Cursing Gaze here is also going to inflict that curse, and it's going to put that ability to stop them from using their basic attack for 4 seconds total. Now that's pretty much it. We have an extra 2 enemies that we can hit on the basic attack. It goes up to 5 total instead of 4 total at Awaken level 5. And when inflicting hex on the enemy, slows them down by 50% for 6 seconds instead of 4 seconds. And then in Cursing Gaze, we get an extra 170% damage on the AoE every 5 attacks. And on the Awaken level 5, you're going to get that basic attack targets +2. Now, is it crazy buff? It's good. It's a good buff for her. I honestly believe that it is a good buff for her. And she's kind of always been a debuffer, to be honest with you, more than just a DPS, because she's bringing out that curse. And you bring that curse along into Gear Raid 1, and it stops the enemies from being able to attack the wall, right? That's always been kind of the idea. She's one of the OG lords for the Esotericist faction, so that's one of the reasons why she did that. And I think she's long-awaited buff for some extra damage has been needed, although I'm not sure it's quite there. But we'll test it out today. As for the build, we're going to go for Wicked Vengeance on the left side, attack speed, crit damage, rage regen, and attack bonus. And then on the breastplate, we're going to go for attack bonus, crit rate, crit damage, and rage regen. I'm trying to get that ultimate to come back as often as possible, right? On the right side, we're going to go Cataclysm. Attack bonus, attack speed, crit rate, crit damage, and rage regen, all the way down through the mix here. And then we get to the ring, and we're going to have the Esotericist faction exclusive ring. Upon casting, the ultimate restores 8% rage for the hero. It's going to help her come back to her ultimate a lot faster. And she's also going to be having the attack speed, crit rate, crit damage, and rage regen as substats here. On the artifact, she's going to go for a Tear of Twilight, okay? Grit that attack as high as we possibly can. Now, also, I want to note on the gear, because some of these crit rate rolls are really, really fantastic, I was able to actually ignore crit rate on one of my pieces, and it's usually on the left side where you can pick up an attack speed, crit damage, attack bonus, and rage gen piece. And these are very rare, and you should watch out for them, and they do make a big difference. Otherwise, I would have to replace the rage gen with crit rate. So we get an extra 25% rage gen because of the ability of having our crit capped and having the crit rate so high on all these other pieces. Total stats, she's coming in 17.5k attack. That's kind of what I was talking about with the attack not being very high. I think if they gave her an extra 500 to 700 even just to bring her up, she is a lord. She should be doing a lot more damage as she's doing. It's not out of control. Attack interval is coming down to 1.4 seconds. Crit cap 334.5% crit damage. And then the rage regen is at 114%. Now she's at Awaken level 0. So the Awaken level 1, she would get enemies affected by Hex, cause 50% AoE damage upon death. Causes like a chain reaction. It's supposed to be somewhat of an execution. The damage isn't really high though. It doesn't remind me of like Comet has though. Awaken 2, they get attack percentage +5, and then increases penetrations for the faction team by 5%. Awaken level 3 is that where that Cursing Gaze, it also inflicts the curse. And then we get some extra rage gen in Awaken level 4, and then Awaken level 5 basic attack targets +2. This one is going to be massive, but it's not the most game-changing thing. I think the extra damage coming from the Cursing Gaze is massive as well, and the ability to hit 3 enemies on your basic attack before getting to Awaken level 5 is amazing. So let's go back into Gear Raid 1 stage 21. Now here is the test. I'm trying to see what it's going to take to get her to solo Gear Raid 121. This is not something that's actually that easy. There's not that many heroes that can do it. There is heroes that can do it, okay? But it's not something that's very common, okay? So getting her to be able to do that is going to be able to showcase really well just how good she is. So let's go in there and test this right now. Okay. Move myself up. I'm gonna go ahead and stick her right here. And we're gonna put Diao-Chen there. He's not gonna go in there and solo DPS a gear raid 121 without any support, so we do want to bring in some support. We're gonna bring in Eloin first to help get that rage regen and cycle her ult a little bit more. Alright. Comes the ult. I'm gonna activate Laurel to help with the rage regen. I'm gonna get our Artemis down there, that's some anti-heal. And we'll activate him now. This is pretty much the squad that's gonna be on the team right now. Nothing too crazy, nothing too fancy, right? It's just how well is she gonna do just doing this on her own, right? Activate Laurel. I'm gonna keep Laurel down on the field. I could cycle her, that would be true, but at the same time, I just want to see how she does this way instead of cycling her around and having to bring Volca. Volca's not really a big deal to bring along anyways, but her ult doesn't cost a lot and she comes back to it pretty darn quick. We keep her out on the field as well. She does get that damage increase of 20% coming from Laurel because she's out on the field and her ult isn't activated. Alright, so every time her ultimate activates, I'm going to activate Laurel to try to get her cycling a little bit more. Now if I slow this down, you can see some of these guys are going to have curse, so some of them won't attack with their basic attack. And you can see, it's kind of a struggle here. Come on, get that curse out. This guy's kind of sitting here, right here. Just not doing anything. And that's essentially what you're getting from the curse ability. It's a 20% chance unless she does it her 5th attack. So maybe try to bring her in with attack speed amulet and just use her as a debuffer to bring along so they can't attack the wall. That could be an interesting kind of way of looking at things. Let's put her back on 2x here. I'm gonna activate Artemis, then a Laurel. See if we can take this guy down. Some of her damage is doing right around 100k. That's not terrible. It's trickle damage, but she is also buffing. That's something you gotta keep in mind here. Now this is where we're gonna run into a lot of trouble here. I'm gonna go ahead and activate Artemis. I'm gonna activate Laurel. I know it's gonna make her come back to her ultimate faster, and she's gonna activate during Laurel's ultimate, but kind of is what it is. We have to get these guys cycling around. Okay, you see we're right around 38 enemies right now, and it's just not looking good. That wall's going down. It's going down. There they go. See you later. 39 enemies taken out. 40, 41, 42, 43. So right around 43 enemies. Now Ingrid is a hero that can do this on her own, right? It's not something that she has an issue with at all. But Venoma's not Ingrid. That's something that I keep in mind is Venoma is not Ingrid. She is a buffed up unit that was really terrible and now it's just okay. That's what I'm kind of feeling about her. But let's go ahead and awaken her level 1 and see how that chain reaction goes where the enemies die, they inflict 50% AoE damage if they have Hex on them. Alright, so let's get that going. He's really going to be awakening dependent, but I think a lot of people have pretty high awakenings for Venoma, so I mean that could stand for something. But we got 43 last time. Let's go ahead and get in there again and see what happens this time around with that awaken level 1 and see if she can do a little bit more. I kind of doubt it, like it's gonna make that much of a difference, but I mean, we'll take what we can get, I guess. Take what we can get. All right, let's get Eloin out. All right. So you guys are gonna just watching. The reason I put Artemis over there is because usually the totem comes over the top of the right side. Yeah, see, they just did it again. And she did better this time around. You can see there's a massive difference, if you ask me. Go ahead and help Artemis get back to his ultimate again. That guy's got like 150% rage regen. Really wish he was a little quicker coming back to that, but it is what it is. It is what it is. I'm not going to activate him now. I think the healings are all off of him. You can see the hex debuffs on the guys here. right, let's wait a second. Gonna activate Artemis, activate Laurel. I think the Awakening level 3 is going to be huge, and then the Awakening level 5 is going to be huge. I haven't tried out Awakening level 5, to be honest with you. Come on now, get those guys taken care of. It's not as good as Comet. It's not. It's just not there. Okay. Okay, let's activate this to stop these guys from getting healed up. Activate Laurel again. Sitting right around, I don't know, 70% wall life left. She is inflicting a little bit of slow here. It's just not very consistent. I wish it would happen much more often, guys. Is she amazing now all of a sudden? No. It's not what's happening here. Good, and she's much better. You could argue that it's a little bit more worth bringing her along, let's put it that way. I think that's a good way of putting it. Just like before, I'm going to keep Laurel down on the field. I was just about to pick her up. We're going to leave her down. Go again. Artemis, come on. Laurel, we're at 41 right now, so I think we're a little bit better. 43, 44, 45. 48 before they got through, so that leaves us with, I don't know, 11 units left. Yeah, I don't see the Awaken level 3 even gonna make that much better, but let's just continue the testing and see how she turns out, whether or not you guys should get excited. I think you should be excited if you have Venoma and she is your Issa Lord, and yeah, I mean, it's just going to be a little bit better for you. That's what I think is going to happen here. All right, so the Awakened level 2 is going to be that attack plus 5%. And then the Awakened level 3 is going to be that where Cursing Gaze also inflicts Curse. Curse is going to help them stop attacking the wall. This is not going to get us much more damage, okay? This is going to be able to make them slow down and beating down on the wall on us. That's the idea. Can we get more enemies taken out from slowing them down? Well, we'll find out. Let's get in there and find out quickly here. All right, so Venoma, placing her down. I'm gonna put down Diao Chen. I'm gonna put down Laurel. And I am using her on, mostly here on Gear Raid 1, because like I said, this is kind of her hometown, right? It's not like she's super useful all over the place, you know. I used her a lot in the beginning, in the early game for me, actually, to be honest with you. It wasn't like she wasn't useful. You know, she was actually pretty useful. All right. So that seemed to go down a little bit faster. Get this ult going again a little bit more. Give her a little bit of heals. Not super necessary, but it's nice to have. All right, we'll hold off on using Artemis. You can see these guys are getting stunned a little bit more, just kind of sitting there. It's nice. Another totem. I'm gonna activate Artemis, and then I'll activate Laurel again. Artemis is putting up that anti-heal. That's gonna stop them from healing up and give Venoma a chance to tear him down. Yeah, it's just not crazy damage with that 50% AoE damage. It's because her attack is so low. Our wall looks to be right around 80% right now. Activate Artemis. I'm gonna wait a second to activate Laurel. There we go. Venoma's ult went off, so now I'll hit Laurel. So we have a little bit more wall life left going into this last batch, but as you can see, it's nothing crazy. Like, I don't think it's gonna make that big of a difference. If we get to 50, I think I'd be shocked, honestly. All right, activate Artemis, activate Laurel. Let's see where we end up here. She just needs the multipliers to be a little bit higher. The attack just needs to be up a little bit more. I think that would make a massive difference, honestly. I really do. So we're at 40 right now, about 20% left on that wall. I'll go ahead and hit Artemis. 43. Yeah, see, it doesn't seem like it's that much more crazy, does it? 46, 47. I didn't even make it to 50. Oh, 50. Right at 50. So about the same, honestly. They do a better job putting that curse out, but as you can see in real testing, it didn't really seem to make that much of a difference. Well, let's take her on to the Awaken level 5 and see what those extra 2 targets does for us here. Alright, Awaken level 5. Awaken level 4 is actually Raging on Auto +1, so that's actually going to help a little bit. Bring back her ultimate much more quicker. I shouldn't say much quicker, but quicker. And then basic attack targets +2, so now we're going to be able to hit 5 total with Venoma. Alright. Let's go back to Gear Raid 1. We'll start it up. Not a problem. Not a problem at all. It's just running around. You guys get to see the full showcase of Venoma's difference. And when this is going live, I'm actually not sure. I just know that they asked us to do some testing. And I guess maybe it's a good thing. Maybe they'll see this and then hopefully just give her a little bit more. It'd be nice, honestly. It would be nice. Okay, so now she's hitting targets all over the place. You can see there's definitely an improvement just from that. She's putting out more Hex, she's putting out more Curse. I didn't even activate Artemis in the first round. The wall's pretty solid. And this is going to be interesting. But I did see Awaken level 3 before already, so this is my first time seeing Awaken level 5. Alright. Activate Artemis. Take him down, Venoma. Take him down. Show your worth here. Awaken level 5, Lord. Struggling with Gear Raid 1. I mean, but it is solo. It is, I mean, to be fair. To be fair, it is solo. Alright, come on. Let's go, let's go, let's go. No way, come on, get him, get him, get him. Alright, there you go. Perfect. Wall's sitting right around 90-95%. I think we'll just hold off for a second. Activate Artemis. Just make sure we don't have wall issues. Go ahead and activate Laurel. Alright. Got a lot more wall going into the last round here. A ton more. It was like 90%. That's actually pretty insane. Alright, get a little bit of health. Activate Artemis again for that anti-heal. These guys look like they're getting beat up pretty bad. Can we hold it off though? That's the question. By the way, Artemis doesn't really do much damage. He's mostly in there with HP percentage pieces on him and stuff. Oh, can we hold it off? Can we hold it off? Wait just a second. There we go. Now activate her. We're at 47 and the wall's still standing. A little bit of health up here again. 51 and the wall's still up. Not pretty though. Alright, 55. Alright, now it's just her and the boss. Is she gonna do this? There's no way. No way she can solve this. I just don't believe it. Is he gonna heal himself up? She's not doing a lot of damage and that wall's taking a ton. Here he goes. Busting through. And I mean, I guess you could have more heroes with, right? But it's just kind of, you ask me, a little bit ridiculous. She should be taking this guy down. I mean, that's a pretty solid run. But obviously you have 3 more units that you can play with on the left side. So you bring in a little bit more damage. You could actually bring in a Silas if something you wanted to snipe down the boss at the end there when she takes care of most of those enemies. But anyways, guys, I think that's all I have for today's video. I just wanted to show off Venoma's buffs that she's gotten. I think they're pretty solid. They're nothing crazy. Moontana, if you do watch this, please give her just a little more oomph. Just a little more oomph. It'd be really nice if you could just give her a little bit more. I think a little bit of attack is going to make a huge difference to help her break through some of those defenses, you know, something to help her out a little bit. But anyways, guys, that's all I have for today's video. I hope it was helpful. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe. Make sure you check out Discord. Make sure you check out prospector.gg. If you are watching this right now, by the way, there is actually a giveaway for a crazy account. It is on my channel. So if you go over to Prospectors or Prospector Watcher of Realms, let me get it up here. Prospector Watcher of Realms, and it's going to be over on videos. And this crazy account giveaway with the goat on the front end. It has the 3 main lords. 2 of them are already at A5. One of them you can get to A5 by breaking down one of the others, and with extra awakenings for them as well. But anyways, that's all I have for today's video. I've been the Prospector. Thanks for tuning in, and until next time, keep digging.